one of my professors taught me about millionaires, Black millionaires during the Depression.
Mm.
That's an education I would have never received at a traditional European university. That alone was worth $40,000. The boost it did for my self-confidence and my self-esteem, being around 800 other Black women, Black queens, okay, and just knowing ourselves, having knowledge of ourselves, and exploring. And I met a lot of my conscious brothers and sisters down south, and it was just an awesome experience. You're meeting people from all over the country, even all over the world. I had college mates from New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and even I had friends from DC, what is it called? The Virgin Islands. They would call it the VI.
Mm-hmm.
Also met ladies from the Dominican Republic and Bermuda. So it just broadened my horizon. And I advocate that any young king or queen attend a historically Black college or university, because it's more than just an education. They also teach you life skills, and you learn things that you would never learn at traditional universities. I also learned how to be or be a resource and find credible sources, which has helped me in my business today. That's why I'm able to get paid $75 an hour as a consultant, because I'm able to research and find resources and give my clients knowledge that is very valuable. Yeah. People pretty much are paying me for my knowledge. And I always say, some knowledge is free and on the house, but other knowledge you have to pay for.
Yeah. Exactly. So I do want to repeat, or let me say echo, how you represented, HBCUs. A lot of time we don't hear enough. We don't hear it expressed enough. But I do appreciate and respect that. And I'm glad to see a proud sister, a queen, representing that and representing Blackness, period. So
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
Let me say, can I say this real quick?
Yes.
So Bennett College for Women is actually the sister college to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. That's our brother college. So a lot of people think it's Spelman, which is across the street from Morehouse. And Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King graduated from Morehouse. And so he's a Morehouse man as well. So I'm proud of that as well. These are institutions that have birthed great people, have birthed millionaires, and even maybe a half a billionaire. There was one gentleman, I believe he was a Morehouse graduate, and he paid for all the education of the graduating class in the year, I don't want to be wrong, but it was around 2020, 2021. He paid for their tuition. So they graduated tuition debt free in that regards. And there are a lot of great women and men who have come from Bennett College, Morehouse College, even Spelman, right? So really proud of that, really proud of that. You'll be surprised the people that are on TV that have graduated from a HBCU. Roland Martin, for example.
Right.
Roland Martin.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say that I don't remember the gentleman's name, but I'm familiar with the gentleman that you're speaking of because I think he spoke. He did the commencement address, correct? And he told him that he would pay for. So I'm familiar with him. I don't remember his name, and it was around that time. I don't remember the exact year either, but yeah, that was good. So it says, or what came to my mind was because I already see you, and I told you I see you as a walking wealth of knowledge. But tell me, do you have any hidden talents beyond that? I already said you're walking wealth of knowledge. What hidden talents, or do you have any hidden talents?
Way back, I used to bless these
Okay.
mics, anointed
No,
MCs like their
no,
name was Hold 'em
no,
Up.
you
Got a college
didn't.
degree
Yeah,
from a HBC. You know, those were the days rocking mics, doing shows. Some of the best years of my life. But I always made sure that my grades was tight. I made the dean's list among many lists. Nice clothes, not a hoe, and a cutie on campus. I do this so y'all can reminisce about the real MCs.
that's what
That's
I'm talking about. Y'all don't want to see her about nothing. She got it all: the beauty, the education, and the confidence. Good job. Love it. That
Thank,
was real good. That was
thank you,
real
Mark B.
good. Let me clap you up for that. You deserve claps for that. Um,
Appreciate you.
okay, name something because we always have misconception when we get to know people. Something that people don't know about MJ.
Okay. They don't know that I am a minister. I
Okay.
have been, called by God, but not a minister in the traditional sense, a pastor who's, speaks in a church, in a pulpit. My ministry is this: educating people about finances, right? Building the kingdom of God, kingdom building, kingdom finances, so that everyone can hear the good news about what my Lord and Savior, Yeshua, Jesus, Isha,
Mhm.
um, has done, and that is my purpose in life. And that is why God has given me the financial consultant business covenant, um, because He has me fulfilling His purpose. But I want to mention that the word minister simply means servant.
Mm.
So I'm out here every day, just, trying to do God's will and trying to serve people, whether that's a smile, whether that's a, encouragement, encourage somebody, or supporting somebody financially. That's what I do every day, and that's in my heart to do.
Very good. Very good. So I got another two-part question. You can
Okay.
answer this however you want to, but I just want to know, would you name your most disappointing time in life? And the second part to that would be name your most rewarding time in life.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer the second question
Okay.
first because
Right.
that's the easiest. Um,
Right.
I would say most rewarding is, getting that college degree, because I
Mm.
was first generation in my immediate family to graduate from
Congratulations.
college. Yes, thank you. Um, Disappointing time. Oh, I have I have a few, but God is still good in
All the
spite
time.
of. Um, I would say the loss of my mother. There are several. That's
Yeah.
really a difficult question for me to answer, to be to be honest. Uh, because my mother, she definitely is responsible for the person that I am today, in spite of it prepared me to be the things that you mentioned, the strength, the confidence. I remember one day I was at my grandmother's house and I was trying to thread a needle. You know, we used to sew back in the day. And so I asked my mother, I said, Mom, I said, Mom, do you think I'll be able to get this thread in this needle? And I was expecting her to say no,
Mm.
but she said yes, right there. I mean, that did so much for me and my confidence. And so, yeah, it's very disappointing um, when you lose a mom. When you lose a mom, I miss being able to call her and say, "How do you cook this?" Because she was a
Mm.
great cook. My grandmother was a great cook, and my sister and I are great cooks. So I just, miss that engagement, that backbone. And I want to also say this though, although I was disappointed losing my mother, I feel like she died younger than what she could have lived to. Um, but I believe she lived longer than what she wanted to live. But, it wasn't until my mother passed away that the little girl in me had to grow up, because I didn't have her to lean on anymore. And my immediate family, on my mother's side, unfortunately, is very small, and they're not glued together. That principle wasn't taught in my family, that we got to stick together, that we are all we got. Except my uncle did say that, but um, that story is for another day. But,
Okay.
we weren't taught that principle. Um, But yes, I do miss my mama. She's my favorite girl, and you only get one.
Yes. Yes. So I'm looking at the complete package, right? You're grown, you develop into who you are now with the confidence and all that you have. What would you say to young girls who are not quite there yet? Let's go back to some teenage young girls, right? They got the greatness in them, but their sights are probably on other things. What words of encouragement, what words do you have for these young girls? Because one day they're gonna get to, be grown, they're gonna be mothers, and we want them to be the best that they can be. What words do you have for these young girls?
Well, I would say that motherhood is great, but wait on motherhood
Hmm.
until you're able to financially, emotionally, mentally sustain that child. And you're not doing it alone, but you're doing it with a partner. you know if at all possible, get married before you consider motherhood. And also get your education first, right? Education, not incarceration. you know um and God wants all of that for us. But there's an order. The Bible says, to do things in decency and in order. And I remember seeing a friend after I came back to Delaware after graduating from Bennett, and she said, "How many kids you got?" Like, she automatically assumed that I had children because that is the environment from where I came after the middle class living. We ended up in the projects, rebuilding and restarting. But education is so important. We were taught in the 60s, 70s, 80s, to get your education and get married before you bring another human being into this world. Um, And that has definitely worked out for me. Although I don't have any biological children, I do have young ladies that I mentor, and that I consider my daughters spiritually. Yes. So education is so important. Be that girl, be that educated girl, be that educated queen. You know, they have on the internet right now a challenge where they're, I think they're trying to pose like Little Kim, but I seen this young girl. She was on a stack of books like this high,
Right.
like 2 feet high. She had her legs crossed with her heels on, and she had a book open and was reading it. And a lot of people in the comments was saying about that challenge, like she just dropped the mic on that challenge.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Powerful.
Let's
Yeah.
change the narrative, not trying to um be someone's baby mother. Let's change the narrative. We Black queens, we're going to get our education. Some of us are great scientists and have science minds and chemical minds. Maybe you can make your own products like Madam CJ Walker.
That's
Her
right.
mentor was a chemist. That's why she
Mm.
created those products that sold. We don't talk about Madam CJ Walker's mentor a lot, but she was a chemist. And another neighborhood that I grew up in is called Dunleaf, the Baja, here in Newcastle, Delaware. And that development was created after World War II, when the soldiers came home, the Black soldiers, and this was a Black neighborhood, and you had teachers in this neighborhood, you had lawyers, you had blue collar trash truck workers. Like I said, my grandfather owned the waste management company. You had construction workers. You had women who were, they might have been caretakers of their home, but a lot of intelligent women and men came out of that development. And so education, 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 because when someone compliments my BMW and the things that I have, I achieved them because I had that degree, and that degree helped me to reach places and to get paid a certain amount that you would not be offered without a degree or without education. So education is so important. And that's what I would say to the young queens. And it doesn't matter where you start your environment. Hey, I went from middle class to living in Southbridge projects, Southbridge for life.
So I got a
But
question. Let me ask a question before
go
I
ahead.
forget. So let's go back to South Bridge, right? And I know you contributed, some appreciation to the neighborhood house. That's a community center out there. What kept you from being consumed? Not that you were perfect, but what kept you from, because you can be, especially a new girl, you fresh meat, you coming to the hood. What kept you from being consumed all the way in the hood?
That's a good question. I just believe that God was always with me. He deposited something. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, God, what makes some people have the determination and the optimism to do things versus other people who may not have that same energy? So looking back, I know it was definitely God. I'm also going to say my mother, like she worked. She never had to lay down to make a dime. Me, myself, thank you, God. I never had to lay down with a man to get money. And so she always showed me a strong work ethic. That's one thing my mother kept, was a job, you know. And I appreciate that. And, she didn't have men coming up in the house, even though my mother and my father were divorced. She didn't have other men coming up in the house. And You, so yeah, I credit it
So
to God and my mom.
God is good all the time. So
Hmm.
that's a blessing. Listen, I want to thank you for your presence, first of all. I think you're going to help a lot of people as far as the business. You're going to help a lot of young ladies. But do you have anything else you want to share? If not, or after you do that, I want you to give us again all your contact information. So my question right now is, do you have anything else you want to share? Then we're going to top it off with you sharing with us all your contact information.
Yes, absolutely. So I did want to mention where we are at in this point of our lives in America.
Mhm.
We are engaged in a fight, like Joe Biden put it, for the soul of this country. They are trying to roll back all the civil rights that our ancestors worked, slaved, um, bled to build this great country, this great nation. And now they're trying to take it all back. They are trying to dominate. And when I say they, we know it's Europeans, specifically European men, specifically the office of the president. And we know we've never seen anything like this before. I didn't think I would ever have to experience this after what I've been taught in college about what Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, and I can go on, fought for. It is so deep. They are trying to kill us. They are killing us. Um, and this is a warning to all the viewers. It would behoove you to get prepared because we don't know what's going to hit us in the next year or two. So we need to be saving our money, as much money as we can. We need to be storing up food, even water, because the office of uh, the Trump administration, they are trying to take a lot of SNAP benefits back, the food nutrition program. About 3 million children will be affected. They're trying to roll back the Medicaid. That is, I believe, over 20 million people will be affected. Many of us know people who have food stamps, who have Medicaid, and Section 8. They are trying to get rid of that. They are giving all of the tax benefits and advantages to the billionaires. There are about 800 billionaires in this country, and they are not trying to do anything for the middle class, let alone people who are struggling and are living below the in poverty or below the poverty guidelines. And we just really need to do whatever we can to get the word out that we need to be prepared. It's time out for splurging and spending money on a lot of things. You need to have cash. You need to have cash on hand. We see what was happening down south in Texas and all over with these floods, right? I remember one couple on TV, they were saying that they had their debit and credit cards, but they couldn't get gas. They could not get gas because they did not have cash. So you're going to need cash, on hand. And we just have to be prepared as a community, come together as a community, and help each other as a community. But You can find me on Facebook at MJ Haskins, Haskins, as it shows on the screen. You can also find me I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, Marcella Haskins, and my website, it's www.mycovenant.com. No, excuse me, mycovenantfinancial.com. Or you can Google Covenant Financial and you can find my website. Again, my phone number is 302-333-3403. If you want to sign up for the membership, you can also text me, and I will get back to you and help you with any financial questions that you may have. I did want to say some of the commandments in the book are creating a spending plan, aka a budget. So you need to know how much money you have coming in, how much money you have coming out, and whether or not you have income left over or not. Have an emergency fund. This is what we're talking about. Home ownership, which is your largest investment, insurance, and having a will, and protecting your credit scoring. So those are the topics in the book. You can get one today. I appreciate your support. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can also reach out to Mark B's Perspective and here get the message to me. Mark B,
Thank you.
it was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
I really appreciate this. I really appreciate this. I want to thank you once again for first of all, taking, time out of your day to come up here and speak to us and share your wisdom, your knowledge and understanding with us. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
The book can be purchased, as she said, on Amazon and other, I guess, Barnes and Nobles too, as well, right?
Yes, and I'll be at Barnes and Noble's Christiana Mall on September 21st.
See, if you're local, check her out. From what time to what time?
From 2 to 7 p.m.
Eastern
and I'll
time.
be there signing books, and you can ask me questions. I would love to meet you.
There you have it. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you.